We're coming.
Yes, we
Here
are.
we are.
Welcome to your Freaky Fractious Friday. He's in New York, Vinnie, and he's in Seattle.
Hola.
Hola.
And he's Michael Knight, and he is in Pasadena, California, right there off the 110, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Michael?
Where the 110, the 210, the 134, the 605, and all the other freeways come by to say hello there.
Hello there. I was watching a shoot just the other night, and they got on to the end, and I was thinking to myself, they ought to stop at Michael's house and just say hello.
We could have some popcorn and talk about the tune-in. What do you think? How many people are watching you right now, do you think?
Yeah, the guys, the two people in the car running from the police, the LA police, then the highway patrol took over the pursuit until they once again got off of the freeway, and then some other local police department decided to join the pursuit. I mean, I'm not sure how it exactly works there. Seems like there's like a whole wheel that they spin to try to figure out how to pursue people. And I can't help but thinking it also centers what channels are covering this, what the TV stations are covering it at the time.
And this is for anyone planning on running from the police today. If you're on the 110, it depends which way you're going. If you're going into Pasadena, you'll be very surprised to know that the 110 ends. That's right, END. You'll see the sign, freeway ends, and it ends on a city street. It feeds all the lanes of the freeway feed to a city street called the Arroyo Grande.
Which isn't.
And you're just on city streets in Pasadena. You can go to Old Town, you can go to Caltech, you can go to the Huntington Museum, but you're going to have to go on city streets because the freeway ENDS, they mean it when it starts in Pasadena and it ends in Pasadena.
Yeah, because all you got is hills in the back. Well, these guys.
If you're going the other way, you can go all the way to Palos Verdes.
Yeah, these guys to get off at some exit and then seek solace in with Rick down there, by the way, as I watch these kinds of things. The new trick is to go into a parking garage.
They can't see you.
Right, because then the helicopter can't see you and they can ditch the car and melt in with the crowd. Although I've also noticed that one of the other things that they're doing now with this is the passenger will take selfies and or broadcast live while they're in the pursuit. So if you know who's in the pursuit, you can actually watch their end of it as well.
The media darlings that they are.
Some days that's how you get your 15 minutes of fame, right?
The morning started with me with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, that's not something I would advise everyone to do. If you haven't had your coffee yet, you don't need a dose of Marjorie Taylor Greene, but that's what I got today because the Republicans, Vinnie, have decided that it's time for Mike Johnson to go. They just don't have the votes to get rid of him. They're telling him that they no longer want him there because they believe the Republicans don't want a Speaker of the House who lets Democrats vote on spending bills, for instance. The spending bill passed, and that has aggravated the Republicans to no end because they had planned for more chaos instead of legislation. They had nothing planned. Now they want to get rid of Mike Johnson, but instead of getting rid of him, they have nothing planned. They don't have a vote going.
They don't even have a replacement in mind. I mean, it's not like they say, why is that doing such a crappy job? Let's put Homer Bedlow in there from the great state of
maybe somebody from Slovakia would like to be the speaker.
Well, at this point, I would think that somebody from Slovakia could do a better job than any Republican.
There's something strange about the Slovakia parliament, however. The Speaker of the House has never said anything. They've never heard a word from this guy. Well, they don't know if he's mute, but they do know that he's silent. So as for a speaker, he hasn't said much. In fact, he said nothing.
The history of Slovakia. It's much more like 100 and something years old. The Slovakia parliament, Slovakian system of government is not that old. It's I don't know, 8 weeks. I don't know.
It's an infant.
Yeah, it's an infant. So As a matter of fact, not people know this, but the two houses in Slovakian government is the parliament is modeled after the cigarette parliament. So you have many members of the parliament.
Can you get it in soft pack and box?
You get it in soft box, and then you have the viceroy. The problem is there's also 20 members in the viceroy.
And can they vote on stuff?
20 cigarettes in a pack. So you have two very nice what do you call it? Coats of arms.
Oh, that's nice.
So I mean, at least it's full pocket that going for.
Can you get a T-shirt in the gift shop?
I don't know if they have a gift shop, and that's something that we ought to talk to them about because you know the gifts really you could.
You know who should have a gift shop is the CHP, the California Highway Patrol, so they can print up shirts from different chases.
I think they probably do have a gift shop somewhere, Michael, or California Highway Patrol. I would bet that they have some kind of company store or something online where you could buy, a T-shirt or a cap or a picture, something like that.
Or a Broderick Crawford brown suit.
You could probably buy Broderick Crawford in the suit. As a
Broderick Crawford suits from the Highway Patrol series were what we call the ample Brooks Brothers cut. 3 pleats in front, lots of room in the keister, long, roomy legs, and cuffs.
Listen, I'm a proponent of those pants. I like those. I need the ample cut with the three vents and the ample ass and
you can carry a shoulder holster without a bulge.
Yeah, well, that's part of that's part of it. You can carry a shoulder holster. You can carry an ankle holster. You can carry a crotch holster.
And you have to admit, Broderick Crawford would have looked pretty silly in a CHP uniform. He wore a brown suit because why? Because whoever's heard of a CHP guy wearing a suit? And he never changed into his dress blues or his dress grays for a special event or anything like that.
Yeah, I never. That was one thing about Highway Patrol, which I always wondered about. I mean, when Stephen Bochco did NYPD Blue, we were treated to a couple of different occasions where Andy Sipowicz,
put on his dress blues,
put on his uniform, his the birds and everything, and
no, that's pronounced Boyd's.
Yeah, the shoulder things and the whole deal, and the arm, the pipes going up the arm for years of service. And it was really, it was impressive. I remember the first time I saw it at parade duty. They were doing some kind of Broadway thing, so they had and his partner Mitch was were there. All of them, Medavoy, all of them in the NYPD Blue were dressed in their uniforms.
Until you haven't seen Ricky Schroeder in his dress blues, you haven't lived.
I don't know. Well, Schroeder was with the show at that point, and I think that this was prior to the departure of Jimmy's. Yeah, he didn't have Schroeder in the show, but it was fun to see. Although I always got to like it. I'm a big fan of the old NYPD uniforms with the breasted, with the coat that had the 2 rows of buttons would come up.
The winter coat.
That police coat. I always thought that was a very, very attractive. I don't know how practical it was to get in.
Back when they drove green, black, and white cars.
Right. It was it was very, very attractive. Beautiful. It was a uniform that said authority.
Yes, the double buttons.
Yeah, the double buttons in the way it all worked, the special cut where the gun stuck out just a little bit, not a
Oh
lot,
yeah,
you know,
you could see
where
it.
yeah, you could see it, but it wasn't obtrusive. And that uniform to me always looked like authority. When they went away from that uniform in the 70s and they went to just the
Short
work
sleeve blue
shirt,
shirt. Yeah, short
blue
sleeve blue
shirt,
shirt.
I mean, it looked like a mechanic. Looked like it
Look,
could be a bread guy.
look like look like it could be with the transit police.
Well, yeah, but yeah. Their uniforms are always the same, if I remember right. And then they've gone to, much more of these practical, the jacket collar, almost a bomber, bomber type jackets and different stuff. There's even um, an NY jumpsuit that
Really?
um,
That they wear in the garage when they take out the rocker panels.
yeah, yeah, something like that. I think the what do you call it? The emergency service units wear them. ESU. They wear those uniforms because it's probably much more of a practical form, for what they're doing when they
Well,
have to go
this
and.
time of year, Vinny, and this is going to be a great segue. This time of year, who else wears uniforms?
Well, I would say baseball players.
Would that include Yoshinobu Yamamoto?
You mean a roll of the dice, Yoshi?
The man with a $325 million 12-year deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Well, is that his deal or is that um
Ohtani?
Ohtani, Shohei Ohtani deal? And then he just, I mean, who pays for him? The club pay for him, or does Shohei pay for him?
Well, that's
Pay for
part
him.
two of the story. Let's start with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's got a $325 million 12-year deal with the Dodgers. Yesterday, he pitched for the Dodgers in the grand opening game against the San Diego Padres. He threw 43 pitches in the first inning. He got rocked for 5 runs before they could get him out of there. And his ERA is now 45.00.
And you're complaining about that as a Giants fan. Why?
No, and I'm complaining. I'm lauding the event. I'm saying this is a part two, actually, of the Chavez Ravine curse of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Part one was the man named Ippei Mizumara, the translator for Shohei Ohtani, stole $4.5 million from him and gambled it away in a theft that is now rocking the sports world. And what they can't tell me in any of the stories that I've read, whether it's the LA Times or ESPN, is how did Ippei Mizuhara get $4.5 million from Shohei Ohtani without him knowing about it? Is that his walking around money? Does everything cost $1 million? If they go to In-N-Out, that's $1 million. If they buy a car, that's $1 million. If they get a T-shirt at the CHP gift shop, $1 million. Pretty soon, money doesn't mean anything. And they think that the guy stole the money from him, but I want to know, where did he get the money? If it was just laying around the house, $4.5 million, we can't come to a conclusion on that. And it wasn't Shohei Ohtani who came up with the idea. The Dodgers had to fire him, had to fire Mr. Mizuhara. I guess as a safety switch that nobody would steal the rest of the $700 million that they're going to pay him over time. You don't have $4.5 million lying around the house that somebody could steal and gamble away, do you, Vin?
No, I don't, Michael. And this is interesting because at first blush on this story, it was Ohtani. Ohtani gave him the money, and then all of a sudden, after they talked to some legal people, Ohtani did not give him the money. All of a sudden, he stole it, or he took it. Well, there was litigation. Nobody knew exactly why or how or what was going on.
And plus, this guy speaks for Ohtani. Not that many people on the team, I imagine, speak Japanese. So what Ohtani has been saying all this time and all the comments that he's made to the press have to be called into question, because why would this guy translate it accurately if it was in his advantage to translate inaccurately?
Well, I think you make an excellent point. I think that everything is all in question around Otani, except the fact that he can throw a ball and hit a ball. Other than that, um, how do you trust anything that's
So
going on?
the two biggest acquisitions from the Dodgers are in the headlines with very unflattering stories about the Dodgers organization, about the use of the money that they're giving them, about the nature of their relationship with the team, and these are individuals who have apparently great baseball talent, but no judgment whatsoever.
Well, I first of all, you're why somebody in the Dodger organization wouldn't be vetting the translator, wouldn't be running background checks and just finding out what the heck is going on with this straight up. Is he above board? Is he, just what's the story? It's just a matter whether he had a gambling thing or not had a gambling thing. You would think that if you have somebody repping your organization on the stage and at the level that the translator is, you'd make sure that they were up and up, and if they didn't have a gambling problem or whatever kind of problem. But it seems that may have slipped through the cracks with the Dodgers. Well, the Angels previous. I don't know how this guy had been his interpreter, but I think it was a few years. I think he came over with them. So, I mean, obviously somebody has slipped there, or it's one of those things where we know, but we're just not going to say anything because we don't want to get our superstar upset. And
I think that's more than likely right there.
Yeah,
we had some doubts about this guy, but we didn't want to say anything.
Right. He's keeping Otani happy, and if he's keeping Otani happy, well, that's just, that's okie dokie in our book.
Well, I'm not saying that $4.5 million means nothing to Otani, but he couldn't be very happy about losing a salary that could have gone to pay a player that doesn't have a translator who might want to actually play baseball.
Well,
not that I wish the Dodgers any luck with the game of baseball.
Right. This whole translator thing has been an interesting concept to me from the beginning, because I think it has caused problems for people.
Yeah, if you're a poor kid from the Dominican Republic, do you get a translator? No, I don't think so.
You just hit the nail on the head. A lot of rumbling. I remember in the Mariners clubhouse when Ichiro, it was before. It was when Sasaki got there in 98, 99, whatever it was. Sasaki had a translator, really, Allen. And other players, the Spanish players, the Alex Rodriguez's, who doesn't need a translator, but still saw it from the point of, wait a minute, if I'm a kid from the DR, I don't get a translator. I have to find myself. The Japanese players were all a translator, and a translator is more than just a translator. A translator is like your personal assistant.
Yes.
They go shopping for you. They go here, go there to get their own. I mean, it's not that you just you show when the player wants to say something.
We can't have Shohei Otani pumping his own gas at the Arco.
Right. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, butler, or an assistant that acts as a buffer between you and the public.
Yeah, the organization has lots of buffers.
Lots of buffers. Yeah, that's what you call them, a buffer. Anyway, so if now again the guys that I do as translators, when they worked for Ichiro and Sasaki and other Japanese players that had come through, were all pretty good guys. They were like part of the ball club. As a matter of fact, some of these translators would actually suit up in uniforms,
Play catch,
go out and play catch or take fielding practice or whatever it needed to be. They were a part of the team. And but I think there was, if I remember right, and I think I do remember right, a level of resentment among many of the players that these people were not happy that, wait a minute, Ichiro comes, Sasaki comes in, or this guy comes in, or that guy comes in, and they get an interpreter, and the club picks up for that. It's not like the player's paying for his own interpreter. So I don't know. It's to me, it's always been a bit of a sore spot. Some of the players, and rightly so. I mean, really, when you think about it, it is kind of I mean, you're in some ways, I think you're telling the Spanish players, well, you mean less to us.
You should have learned English before you got signed. You knew that this was coming.
Yeah. I don't what the reasoning was, except that, well, we don't want to, the Spanish players are. Maybe the idea was that the Spanish players there were more Spanish players in the league, so there would always be another player to be able to translate for, or be able to say what he was saying. I wouldn't lie on that.
Well, the translator for Yoshinobu Yamamoto should translate "you stink" into Japanese, because that's what the fans are going to be yelling at this kid. He takes the mound just like so many players before him, and during that quiet moment right before the national anthem, someone yells out, "Hey, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, you stink."
Well, I mean, if you're doing that on player, you kind of stink. I mean, I'm no great of the national anthem being sung at every ball game. I think it's jingoism. If you're gonna sing it, if you're gonna put it there, you respect it. You don't yell stuff out it or that. I mean, stand up and sing it. It seems like a great of people that are participating in the baseball game do. Then you should respect that. Just like somebody to expect somebody to respect you if you didn't want to participate. If you just wanted to sit on your hands, do anything.
We never sang the national anthem, did we? We could have.
I've sung it. I mean, I think as I was telling, were we talking about this? I'm talking about this with Lorraine, our friend Lorraine, not too long ago. That because she did. Bob Melvin, I guess, has told the Giants that they got to stand for the national anthem and so on and so forth. And and nobody's to disrespect that you're supposed to pay attention. Which if somebody's paying me, that amount of money to play baseball, I'll sing it. I'll dance to it. I'll do whatever you want me to do to it with it.
I'll throw 45 pitches in the first inning.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. But I think it's and I do consider it disrespectful to yell things out in a national anthem. But then again, I also believe that probably disrespectful to sing at a baseball game. I mean, it's a song that's supposed to be sung at patriotic events, isn't it? It's supposed to be sung 4th of July or at a funeral for a soldier, or when you're welcoming soldiers home or people home or something of that nature. It's supposed to be a unifying song, but we can't agree on anything in this country these days. You go back to what you said at the top of the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, she old Ironsides there, Iron Face there. I mean, good God, you know, it's become this thing where people wrap themselves up in it to try to prove they're Americans.
The last vestige of a scoundrel.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's you think that Trump holding the flag and kissing it on stage is more respect than sitting down and not singing it or kneeling?
Well, as you know, Vinnie, it's a white trash thing.
Yeah, it's a stupid thing. So, but anyway, you know, bottom line is if you don't like it and you're a professional sportsman or a base whatever you are, you keep your mouth shut. You just you know, you stand there. Unless there's such a compelling reason for you to do it, and I do Colin Kaepernick's case. There was a compelling enough reason for him to do what he did. Isn't that the whole point of the song? Is that it expresses our freedom to express your freedom.
The example that I was thinking of, who was the tall second baseman that played for the Mets? He was a power hitter, number 21. Tall second baseman, played for the Giants, played for the Dodgers. Good hitter.
21.
Tall blonde guy, had a farm in Texas.
Oh man. No, Norm Charlton either.
No.
Not Doug Flint from Tim Tuff. No, he wasn't. I don't think Tim Tuffle was overly tall.
I can't think of his name. He never got along. He never got along with Barry Bonds. He had a standoff a couple of times in the Giants clubhouse.
Oh, Jeff Kent.
Thank you, Jeff Kent. So yeah. Jeff Kent plays for the Giants. He gets traded in the offseason, makes a deal with the Dodgers. It's opening day, Giants and Dodgers at Candlestick. And there's a quiet moment before the national anthem. And some guy with good lungs yells out, "Jeff Kent, you stink." And that's where this comes from. You can hear it through the whole stadium. And you can see Kent smile slightly. As there's a close-up of him before they're introducing players for the start of the season. Opening day. And it was just the most beautiful part of baseball poetry that you can have. Here's somebody that played for you, that went to war for you, but now he's with the Dodgers. And there was that moment where everyone in the stadium could hear it, that hushed moment before the game. Jeff Kent, you stink. And I know that it violates your respect for the national anthem that we're talking about. But at the same time, the timing in terms of baseball terms was perfect. It was poetry of the highest order.
Well, and it violates the what I'm talking about, but it's a baseball game.
It's too beautiful to pass up.
It's not that we're standing at Arlington National Cemetery,
Right.
or the Jefferson Memorial, or or Mount Rushmore, if you will, and it's Lincoln or Roosevelt or whoever's a birthday or anniversary, whatever it is. And you stand there. It's a baseball game. People have been drinking before the baseball game, during the baseball game, and after the baseball game. And if you expect in that case for people to have a solemn respect for the flag or the anthem, you're looking in the wrong place.
Or your hated rivals, Pittsburgh Pittsburgh and Baltimore playing each other.
Yeah, I mean, you're not to. It's just not the moment for that type of solemn. It's it's like going to the World Trade Center museum, the 9/11 museum, and expecting people to be, um, there if somebody yelled something out there, you're an idiot.
Right.
While they're playing the national anthem. But that's a place that you expect a certain type of decorum, right? You expect it if you're standing there, and it's especially it's a day of remembrance or a day of whatever. You expect that that's the mindset there that you ought to be respectful of those who have come to mourn. I don't know that a lot of people go to a baseball game to mourn, except Mets fans in the second half of 6 out of every 10 bases.
What I said yesterday about the Final Four came true last night. I don't know if you saw the game with Oakland and Kentucky.
I did not see the game. I've seen enough clippets and snippets of to realize and know just from the gravity of the situation. What happened simply amazing and unbelievable. And
I learned something. Oakland University is in Rochester, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit. I didn't know that. I'd never heard of, or if I had, I'd never made any impression on me that Oakland University was a basketball power. But they had a guy named Jack Golke, Gohlke.
yes,
And he sank 10 threes last night and shot the lights out. And he started at the beginning of the game where Oakland had the lead 3-2. And he kept it to the end when they won 80 to 73, something like that. And he shot the lights out all night long. And there was nothing that Kentucky could do about it. There was no defense that they could employ, no run that they could overtake Oakland. No way they ever looked like they were going to win the game. It was an extraordinary thing where they just trailed the whole game by 2 or 3 points and then finally lost their spread. And Kentucky was a third seed. It was supposed to be a one-sided gimme game. And then instead, it was quite a show. I saw the whole thing.
I whole game, as I said, but several factors about just the stuff around the game. Number one, a double embarrassment for Calipari. That's his hometown.
Yeah. Right.
The Pittsburgh. He's from the area, and is well in the area among the basketball community. So that's number one. Number two, Calipari has tried as opposed to several of these teams. That's what's turning into the norm in college basketball today is that you play your youngest knowing that they're going to be gone, or you go out, you recruit them from somewhere else. Calipari tends to get his players young and keep them until they're ready to go somewhere else. And that's kind of for Calipari, and because as they progress through their basketball career, college careers, they get better obviously every year. And he's got a doubly hard job because he's trying to these players along. They're young players. They make mistakes, and it's a roll of the dice when they get into those pressure situations. And unfortunately, Kentucky didn't seem to be able to again, from what I saw the whole game, but from what I could see, they didn't have the experience.
They were a far younger team.
Yeah,
but
you
must have a record if you have the number 3 seed. And people expected Kentucky to walk over these guys and shoot out the lights. They were described as an offensive powerhouse. And that's certainly not what they were last night.
No, well, it to show you that what's screwed up about college basketball these days is you don't get these kids stay anymore. It's almost like a traveling road show. But everybody comes, everybody stays.
One thing I didn't see was the end of the Washington State game. Do you know who won?
Oh, yeah, I did. Of course I did. How could you even suppose? Yes, Washington State won that game.
Good, because so Gonzaga won theirs too.
Yeah, that Washington State game was quite a game in the fact that the lead changed a number of times. It was tied a number of times. It was 2. I thought, as the seeding would show you, I thought of an evenly matched game.
Well, congratulations, Cougars.
So the Cougars move on. I love the Cougars coach. I don't know a hell of a lot about him, but he harkens back to those types of coaches that we used to run into when we were covering the Cougs on a daily basis. He's got a little bit of that Mike, a little bit of that Kelvin Sampson. He looks like a guy that fits Pullman. There's a certain type of coach. The Mike Prices, the Mike Levin Sellers, the Rob Akey's of the world that fit that wonderful type of coach that you need to be an effective coach out in Pullman. There's some those people that are out there that they bring in universities that they're made for the job. They have a sense of humor, afraid to take an underhanded little swing brother. And it was very impressive to me, lad. I don't know him that well or know much about him. But I really was with the way he handled his interviews, the way he handled his kids. Really was. At one point in the game, they were talking to him in one of those silly game interviews, which I dislike. I don't, let the coach the game. There's nothing he's going to tell me game that's going to make me any small.
We're playing hard. We're committed to winning this game. The boys are doing a great job.
But at one point, and I'm paraphrasing now. At one point, he said, "We're letting Mr. Headband get away with a little too much. We got to go after Mr. Headband." There was a player on the other team that was wearing a headband. And I loved it. So congratulations to the Cougars. I'm glad that they're moving on. And congratulations to the Zags. I'm glad that they are moving on. They had quite an easier time with their game.
We also follow Colorado in this household. So Colorado won, and they advanced. They're playing Florida, I think, tonight or tomorrow.
Tomorrow. It's got to be a day between games. So, well, that's good, Will. We have an ongoing interest in keeping an eye on these games, right?
Right.
That's something. I just want to call something up here on my phone. You know that the in spring training, the Mets and Yankees are in contest as we speak, and it seems that let's see.
They're playing in Mexico. The Yankees are going to play in Mexico.
I think they played there last year, so I don't know. Are the Mets going to London? I forget where they're going for their out of their away international series. So that'll be interesting. But no, I think they're playing, if I'm not mistaken, they're just down in Florida. But let's see here. What do we got? Giancarlo Stanton singles in the bottom of the third. The Yankees either tied or have moved ahead of the Mets, which is not going to make me a happy camper. I hate to see that stuff happen. Come on, where is this? My internet today is. Oh no, okay. So, all right. So okay, the Mets lead the Yankees in the top of the fourth, 2-1. So I'm good with that. The Mets have a 14-10 spring training record, which means nothing. To the Yankees, 11-15 spring training record, and that means nothing.
Who the Mets got pitching?
Let me see. I kind of in my running around the show and my lateness in getting up. I didn't get a chance to be into the thing, but it looks like Parsons is now pitching for the Mets, and yeah, Parsons pitching for the Mets started for the Yankees. Boy, this is really I'm not a big fan. I'm doing it wrong. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a story while you're looking for that.
Yes. Parsons is pitching right now for the Mets, the Yankees. Gill is gone 4 innings, giving up 2 runs, a home run, and hit a pitcher. Oh, I batter. So spring training again, but man, I mean, we take spring training seriously. When it comes to the Yankees, anytime you play the Yankees, it's a serious matter, no matter what.
There's a famous gang that Donald Trump talks about all the time called MS-13. You probably heard of them.
Yeah, the bunch of young reprobates from Long Island, New York.
Well, it turns out they're not that young. The leader of MS-13 is actually 48 years old.
Young to me.
Yeah, young enough, right? And he's in custody today. He was arrested at the San Isidro Mexican border crossing by American officials of the FBI. That's not the story. The story is that he has a nickname. His real first name is Freddie, but he has acquired a nickname as the leader of the MS-13, and it is Lucky de Park View. Lucky de Park View, and I'll spell that for you. Lucky as you would normally spell it, L-U-C-K-Y. De Park, D-A-P-A-R-K, View, V-I-E-W. Now, that may not be a name that you would have chosen if you were the head of MS-13, but Lucky, English was not his first language. Give the poor, he didn't have a translator. He didn't have Yamamoto working it out for him. He could have picked a more clever name. That's the one he likes, so he's lucky to Parkview, but not so lucky as to get across the border back into Mexico. His luck fell short when he needed it the most. The FBI said, Lucky, we see you crossing the border. This ain't going to work. Come with us. And by the way, we're going to work on a new name for you. We'll get you a translator. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to like it being in custody. So the head of MS-13 is in custody. That means there's a vacancy at the top. If you can come up with a clever name and you're 48 years old and don't have a job right now and looking to take over the administration of a street gang, there's an opening. And the name's not being used anymore, so you can be lucky if you want.
Well, being lucky, I think maybe his luck ran out there, right? I mean, he got caught. San Ysidro, which is not your largest border crossing, right? It's one of the smaller ones, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a busy place, but not the biggest.
Yeah, it's not like a Tijuana or an El Paso or what's the other one? It's that I'm thinking of down there, Calexico, which is pretty. Even though it's out in the middle of the desert, people go out there to come across. And
So for people looking for a job like Jeff Kent or Ipe Mizuhara, there's a job opening with MS-13. They're looking for someone with administrative skills and the ability to, as they say in the business, pull the trigger.
Yeah, you got to be able. Yeah, I think if you're in that business, you got to be able to pull the trigger. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Well, so he's now in custody. I'm sure that the Republicans today are just jumping back and forth and running up and down, saying, "Look at this! Look what our Democratic administration did. They caught this terrible criminal, this guy who's threatening the lives of people." I mean, I know MS-13 operates out on. It's a far cry from the border. I'm sure that they, a whole are standing up this morning. Well, we may have our differences, but we love the fact that this wonderful president had the intelligence and had his intelligence community kind of gather, knew where this guy was coming in, and I'm sure that that's what the Republicans were standing on. Because as I was getting ready to I was watching CNN with the sound off, and I saw Marjorie Taylor Greene with a gaggle of reporters here. And I'm sure that's exactly what he's telling them, giving President Biden the process of saying, our great president, we may not agree politically, but our great president was able to accomplish this morning and taking people and putting them out of danger, not in the line of fire. Maybe I feel a little bit better about country this morning. Isn't that what happened, Michael?
I'm sure that's what she said, or it's what she meant to say. But a good question from the FBI to Lucky de Park View would be, if you have such a big operation on Long Island, what are you doing in San Isidro? And he'd say, I like the weather.
I was
It's warm, T-shirts and shorts. And also there is the Park View to look on. It doesn't say what part he's viewing or what park he would like to view. Could be Central Park.
I would think that, but I would think that both Republicans and Democrats would be cheering for our President Biden this morning.
I'm sure Marjorie will get around to that because, it depends if she took her fentanyl before the press conference, during the press conference, or afterwards.
Michael, something tells me you're not quite confident that Marjorie Taylor Greene was cheering on the fact that the United States Border Patrol, even though Republicans decided to quash a bill that would have given them additional resources.
Oh, yeah.
That would have said to them, we appreciate the work that you're doing. Here's some more money to back it up and make it easier for you to track these people and to intercept them. Republicans said to the Border Patrol, don't take it personal.
No, this is not personal. This is business.
Right.
And also, Lucky to Park View like to go cruising with Tommy Tuberville. Friday nights, they would cruise Washington, drive around, check the neighborhoods.
Yeah, make sure that everybody's door was locked.
Make sure that the guys who do the earning were out there earning, okay? That's what this business is about. I need people to earn for me.
Right. They're kind of the congressional beat cops of the operation. You don't think that was happening quite like that, huh?
And the earning is important. The burn rate for Donald Trump, and we haven't mentioned Donald Trump yet, but the daily burn rate for Donald Trump is extraordinary. He's burning through $238,000 per day for legal responsibilities. Plus, he's accruing, in addition to the $464 million that he owes, on that figure, he's accruing a daily interest increase of $112,000 per day for every day he doesn't pay that fee. So he's burning through close to $400,000 a day between the interest and his legal fees per day. And that's how he loses his freedom, and that's how he loses this race. His burn rate is extraordinary.
Well, I don't know, Michael. Yeah, and he's now, I guess, said that he's going to have the money to post for the bond on Monday, or he's close to having it.
Well, he said today in a tweet that was registered, that came out at 2 a.m. this morning, that he has $500,000 in cash, $500 million in cash. But if he had that, he could pay this figure and be done with it. But because he says he has 500 million in cash, that means he does not have 500 million in cash. That means that the burn rate has eaten him alive. And the end result is, like Al Capone finally went down for tax evasion, Donald Trump will go down by just being broke.
I saw that he was saying that of this half a $500 million judgment here that he have to campaign less for the president, that he may not already said these consolidated campaign rallies that
and can't fuel the Trump
color.
Is Trump's personal plane a 737 MAX?
I have no idea what he's there now. They're talking about cost cutting on his campaign. Now that doesn't, I'm sure some wealthy donor will step up and help him out. Oh, he's having trouble with that too.
Oh yeah,
he's not getting the people to stand up and the little people. The next time people that
the people who are early into the cult.
Send him a little bit of their Social Security check every month. He's not losing as many of them, but he's losing the big boys.
Small burner don't out. Big burners are they're ankling on the deal.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how to go at the big boys, because the big boys, frankly, are stressed out. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the thing inside of them to keep this stuff going. And listen, rich people don't get to be rich people by backing a horse that may not even finish the race.
May not be in the race.
Right. So there's a lot of things that these particular backers, this particular division, this salon of Trump boys, would back him and throw the money and the finances in there. So I don't know, Michael. But here's the thing. All Donald Trump has to do to get cover, he doesn't have to buy ads. All he's got to do is say something stupid. And every which is a daily matter. Of course, every television news organization runs to cover it like it, like it's the state of the.
Well, and he did that last night when he claimed to have $500 million in cash, which he does not have, and they covered that this morning as if it were news that he had actually lied about his finances.
Yeah, really, that should be on the comics page. It should be they should hire a cartoonist,
as they used to say. I'll see you in the funny papers.
Be in the funny papers. There should be a cartoon column dedicated to the to telling the president's slapdick story.
Before we go today, Vinnie, and you enjoy your weekend show, by the way, what are you driving, Vinnie?
I'm driving. Oh, Michael, what an incredible car I'm driving this week. I'm driving the Audi Q8 e-tron.
I don't know that one.
It's a mouthful, but it is Audi's all-electric large SUV, and it is truly. And I haven't driven it much. I've just driven it around the neighborhood, but it is truly a stunning vehicle, both in looks and in performance, as far as handling, as far as interior and exterior design. I mean, I was parked yesterday down by the where I sit and watch the sunset, aptly named. Imagine that. And several people stopped by and looked at the car and was admiring it. You're not alone in not having seen it before. Many people walked by it, didn't know what it was, except the four circles in the front.
Audi.
So a lot of people had an idea of what it was, but I hadn't seen this before, or very impressive to people, and impressive. It's really a stunning car, and maybe the most stunning thing out of it, Michael. You can program the interior lighting.
Oh dear.
Come up orange and blue.
It's a Met sunrise every day.
Any day you want this car, you can just, or I don't know if you can do orange and black, but you can do orange and blue.
Maybe do orange and white, maybe.
Yeah, and it's quite a beautiful sight to be sitting car, listening on a satellite radio to a Mets game, and the interior of your is orange and blue.
Too beautiful for words.
It's synchronicity at its highest level.
Last story for you. Kristen and I watch British mysteries, lots of them. We've watched them all. We'll watch a mystery in any language. In British mysteries, it's traditional that one of the characters is always the vicar. He's maladjusted. He's a suspect. He's not to be trusted. When I see the vicar, I say murdering swine, because that's inevitably who he's going to be. Today in Los Angeles, on the front page of the LA Times, is a story about a vicar, a pastor, a man of God in Victorville, who paid $40,000 to a hitman to kill his daughter's boyfriend.
I saw that, yeah.
And what did I say? I muttered under my breath, murdering swine. The men of God, the vicars amongst us, are the most dangerous in their penny loafers or whatever, or their Adidas or whatever murdering swine vicars wear these days to be fashionable, to be relatable to their flock. But don't turn your back on a man of God if he's a vicar or a pastor, because in reality, what he's planning is the murder of someone close to his family. And he's going to pay $40,000 cash to get it done, because he knows the people to talk to. Those are the circles that he truly works in. He's not there to tell you about hymn number 211 that we're all going to sing together. He's there to tell you about how the world really works. And it works. The strong and the men of God take advantage of the rest of us by bumping off a few people. And it's not personal, Vinnie. It's business.
Well, Michael, I always thought that the priests in the old parish in Brooklyn and Bronx and places where, Buffalo and all those Italian, the Italian parishes where the preachers, the priests early on got good hold and the parish and knew the people, that they would they'd know who to call.
Yeah, of course.
Hearing the confessions.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. You get your lead. I need a hitman. Oh, yeah. I can put you in touch with Frankie, or would you like Carmine?
Right. You can be the the most notorious hitman, most fabled hitman or woman, for that matter. For any of you who've seen Prince's Honor, you can be the most fabled, but you'll go to confession and confess your sin, because even the harshest hitman has that thing inside of them that says, well, what if all of this soul stuff?
We have breaking news, Vinnie.
It's true.
The woman who someday was going to be the Queen of England, Kate Middleton, has been diagnosed with cancer and is undergoing chemotherapy. And that's why we haven't seen her. So that's not very good news.
Jesus, they both have cancer.
So now the king and the queen in waiting are suffering from cancer and are being treated in England. The royal family is on rickety sticks right now.
Yeah, that's because King Charles is also getting treated for cancer, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Although he won't say what kind.
Yeah, nobody's really said what kind. Whole controversy about the photo that was taken last week, and was it not photoshopped? And going to trust Buckingham Palace anymore because of the implication, the Royal News Service always being able, deliver us accurate information, so that we wouldn't have any reason to them. Now this turns all of this on its ear a little bit, and listen. Number one, you hope that she gets through it. Oh, I mean, as you probably any cancer victim, who in our circle has not been touched by an extremely close relative that has this disease, whatever form it's devastating. Affects, of course, the people who contracted this, but it affects so many others around them. And it's a woman with whether you like the Royals, don't like the Royals, or whatever your thoughts are, it's still a mother who has a couple of kids, still somebody's wife, still somebody that's going to have to suffer. Although her suffering may be mitigated by having every possible comfort that I'm sure the British medical system and whatever medical system in the world can provide to her, it's still a sad thing. My heart goes out to her and her family, and you pray that she'll be okay. She's how old is she? 40,
She was
5,
two kids,
something like that.
probably somewhere around there.
So it's
more than 40, less than 50, I would think.
Yeah, it's not. Good God, I mean, it's just something horrible I have to deal with. So
we start with Marjorie Taylor Greene and we end with Kate Middleton.
Well, I want to end one more thing before we go, because I was up yesterday and the day before. I don't know if you remember this, because I was in Pittsburgh when it happened, but it affected me for a reason. Today is the 10th anniversary exact of the Oso slide. Now, I don't know if you remember this or not.
I do.
There was 10 years ago, as a matter of fact, it happened at 10:37 this morning, local time.
They're in a village.
Entire mountain, side of a mountain, came down and took along the outer ends of the village of Oso with it. Now, why Oso and I have a special connection is because I have been to that town hundreds of times, because it is on the route that I use, which I call affectionately the Joe Riccici Memorial Automotive Test Course.
That's what it is. It's known all over the world.
Which is what it is. Yeah. It's this beautifully scenic, nice piece of road. It's Washington State Route 530 that goes up into the foothills of Darrington, and then goes north to Concrete, and then comes back to I-5 along Route 20, which is the Cascade Highway. And Oso stands out for a couple of reasons. The biggest one is that it has a general store, and so you can pull over and pull in, and if you need gas, get gas or get something to drink, or make homemade sandwiches and stuff.
Do they have a gift shop?
No, but there's a place that's on the other side as you go up toward Darrington a little bit more, called a Trading Post. And my daughter and I am there a number of times, and they do have some. They don't have Oso gifts, but they have, like Cranlopes and stuff like that. And remember being back in Pittsburgh when I saw this story hit the wire. It was in the afternoon, early afternoon, and became the Oso expert in Pittsburgh, because I actually knew where the place was and could tell, 46 people lost their lives there 10 years today. And then the spirit of it's a different kind of person that lives up there, Mikey. You probably well know. You here long enough to realize that there are people who live in the city, and then you have a different type of persons up here, and this is really a combination of town, farmer, agriculture, but yet closer to the city or to more traditional civilization that we look at as more traditional. Maybe
like MS-13 at the border.
Well, no. No, these are people that tend to help their neighbors, tend to help, to hold things like bake sales and this and that when somebody gets sick and they don't have the money to pay. Matter of fact, I don't know if I have it with me in front of me here, but I have my Darrington. No, it's in my wallet, I guess. My Darrington IGA discount card. For those of you who don't know what an IGA is, it's a chain of local groceries that's spread out all over the country. It's usually the place where everybody meets up to sell Girl Scout cookies or whatever it is, You have the big community billboard there and everything. And that's the kind of place that Oso is. And this was a devastating loss to a community. A that is a tight knit, good community of people, and it's a place where if you bull crap people, you're probably not do well. But if you straight up with people, you're probably going to be okay, because that's what they look for in these types. Again, predominantly Republican, but that's not the point. The point is that on that morning, all of a sudden, people looked up and saw no mountain where there used to be a mountain. And I'm sure that over the course of the time that we have been doing time, you and I now, I know you use some different routes, but that was and still is, where I took cars to see what they did, and would stop into the Oso General Store or the IGA or the they have that shrine up there from St. John Vianney that's up in Darrington, where I filmed.
You can take the new Audi on that run.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to mention those people and then that town this morning, because I do feel some weird small way like we're part of that community. Like that community, even though we don't, we haven't gone up there and spent a lot of time. Although I did stay at the Darrington Motel one night, and I love to stop at the burger bar that's up there in Darrington, which is next town over from, or one of the next town over also. And I go to Squire Creek sometimes to meditate and to kind of try to pull my thoughts together on certain things. So that stretch of highway means a lot to me. And to see the way it's recovered and the way it's been rebuilt, to walk yesterday, the night before, yesterday, I think, through the memorial that they have built there, the Yoso slide, beautiful memorial that they put up. And I'm going to actually do a little film on it on drive time tomorrow morning, post it on Facebook. You'll be able to see it. My heart, to the people who passed and survived. They pulled 11 out of the mud. It's you just say to yourself, "Thank God I wasn't driving along."
Is the mountain stable these days?
It's gone. I mean, you look at it and it's just not there. Full enough so that they reopened the road and they've put some things, but no mountain. See, that's the thing that we forget as human beings, inhabitants of this planet Earth. There are no guarantees. You know that living in California, there's no guarantee that you're going to put a house up on a hillside and that it's going to stay there.
And there's no guarantee that if your name is Lucky de Park View, you may not be lucky after all. No guarantee.
Or if you're Marjorie Taylor Greene, that you're just going to make sure that you run your clown car of a party right off of the bend of a pier.
Chances are her dream date with Mike Johnson is off. Those two never got together.
I'm thinking so. She didn't even call him to tell him what she was going to do.
Nope. Went to the steps of the Capitol, had a press conference.
I mean, doesn't that tell you something right there? That she didn't even have the decency or the nerve to call a guy up and say, "Hey, get ready for this. I'm going to do this.
I'm going to do it without the normal buffers that we usually use. We're going to do this without buffers."
It's our country's in trouble, Michael. As many of the places like Oso, where it's a community and people help each other, there are also a ton of Marjorie Taylor Greenes
who help themselves
and who are in it for nothing but themselves. And one of the things that we will have to preach to Pink as we run through and work our way toward November is what your country to be like. Which side of this you come down on? Don't we owe our fellow human beings decency at least? Tell them what we're going to do if we're going to do something that's going to harm them, or more importantly, harm our country. Owe that to people as part of society?
The current Republicans serving in Congress do not have an answer for you there, Vinnie. They're just going to have to stand mute. They don't have an answer for that question.
Well, that's a shame, because I think that if enough of that goes on, I'm sorry, I got allergies, and if enough of that goes on, Michael, isn't that the thread that has held this country together?
Well, look at the thread. Look at the thread that's holding this point of view together. But why are they pissed off at Mike Johnson? Because he passed a spending package and he had Democratic votes to do it. That's why they're angry. They wanted the spending package to be rejected. They wanted chaos. They wanted market upheaval. They wanted something dark and odious to come from it. And the bill passed, and they're pissed off about it.
Because he did what was right for the country?
Yes.
Because he thought that the harm of what would ensue if they went for a government shutdown once again?
And he said, and to quote him, we have to govern. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's answer to that is, what an idiot, what a maroon. We're not here to govern. We're here to ungovern. We're here to unlock the door. We're here to let the maniacs run the asylum. And please understand that that's all we're here for. We're not here to govern anybody. We're here to fill our pockets and open Pandora's box.
Yeah, Michael, I public. I really think that I think we have something to be worried about with people like Marjorie Taylor in moving into positions of power. Enough people with her to affect some kind of cowardly, dastardly change. It's on us, man. Nobody's going to come and help. There's no cavalry coming over the hill.
What about a new Audi? That's coming over the hill.
The new Audi will come over there, and I will be have the heated massaging seat on full blast, because we're gonna go. May as well go with a well-needed gas.
Well, enjoy your time on the Joe Riccici challenge course.
All right, Michael, and you time with the grandkids this weekend?
Yeah, tomorrow we're the babysitters for the kids are going out to dinner.
Good. All right, well, enjoy that time. Give him a hug for me.
I
Tell
will.
Uncle is hello, or Granduncle Vinnie, or whatever the hell. I will. I'll catch up with you Monday morning at 10:10 or thereabouts, depending on if the internet is working. If the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise.
Hey, if the Lord is willing, could you have him take care of the Vickers down in Victorville?
Yeah, the Victorville Vickers. Boy, oh boy, what a mess.
It ain't a basketball team.
It ain't a basketball team, but let me tell you something. They will definitely take a shot if they have the opportunity.
True enough.
Peace, love, and Manischewitz, my brother. I'll talk to you on Monday.
What a wine. See you, Ben.
Hey, Mikey. Thank you all for listening, too. Don't forget drive time tomorrow morning at 11. And please remember to keep the people of Oso and in your prayers and in your thoughts. All right? All right. See you tomorrow morning.